everybody. This is Tiara Shea with Insert Burger Pun.
And I'm Mike, and I'm also here with Insert Burger Pun.
Yes, I thought you were like loitering, or no, what is the word? Soliciting.
Soliciting.
Right? Isn't that when you like just show up?
I thought soliciting was like trying to sell people stuff.
Oh, right, like going door to door. Okay, anyway, moving on. Hello, everybody. And today we're going to talk about the first two episodes of the new season 12, that just came out recently. Woo!
That's right. Yeah. Last couple weeks. And we watched them. Watched the episodes.
Yes, we did. And I wrote words down, and I can't wait to say some of them.
All right. This is the time for that, for sure. So how do we go about this? What's the plan?
Well, I was just going to say the name of the first episode and then immediately talk about Molly Shannon. So I don't know about you.
Molly Shannon's not in the first episode, is she?
Yes, she is. She's Millie.
I thought that was the second episode for some reason.
See, and this is why I should have said the episode name first.
So maybe I haven't seen the second episode.
Manic Pixie Crap Show, yeah, because the second one was Crystal Mess.
Oh, I haven't seen that at all. Yeah.
We just end recording now.
Yeah.
Well, I'll do my best to explain it to you, and then we'll watch it later, and you can tell me if my description did it justice.
Okay, sure. Okay, so the season premiere.
Yes,
the season premiere of season 12 of Bob's Burgers was Manic Pixie Crap Show.
Correct.
I just want that sentence to sink in here. This is the episode they chose to start out with. Yeah.
Yeah, this was their what is that? Oh my god, all words are leaving me today. Where like what you jump off of, like, oh my
god. Acapulco.
Yes, exactly. It's that.
Okay.
Yeah, the way you said it makes me think you're being a little sardonic, and I'm like, I agree. It wasn't as strong of a first episode, but I still enjoyed it.
Okay.
I enjoyed it from a child's perspective, and I enjoyed it as an adult's perspective as well.
Okay. Well, you mean, so you don't mean your differing perspectives as a viewer. You mean referring to the two different storylines in the episode, right? There's a kid storyline and an adult storyline, right?
Oh, well, the adult storyline, actually the adult storyline, I'm like, ooh, that's kind of sad, with Linda having that repressed memory and all those emotions coming up.
Right.
People around her not realizing that she hasn't processed that death. That was kind of sad for me, but I'm talking about the adults in the kid story, if that makes sense. So like the fairies, or like the princesses and the gnome, like I enjoyed it about them too.
Well, let's set it up, right? So the main the A story of this episode is that Louise got dragged into this fairy park event by Millie. Millie wants a special thing. She gave Louise a special thing, so she feels obligated to help out. It's kind of a blackmailing situation, I guess. And so Louise has to do this awful fairy walk,
the Pixie
thing.
Princess Promenade, the PPP.
Yeah, and they're gonna walk around the park and do magical things, and you get a wand at the end. So that's that. Louise doesn't like that stuff, so it's an obvious surface level conflict there. On the other side of things, we have Linda gets a flower arrangement delivered of a dog. Looks like a dog she knew as a kid around the neighborhood, and it died, and she has some issues to work out about that. So that's our B story with the adults. But yeah, so that's the episode. This is the... which I think, I don't know, I don't really even remember our predictions for when we heard this episode title.
Yeah, I wish I had listened back so I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, was I correct? Did I win?
I think you said something about an event, for sure. Mm-hmm. I was thinking something school-related, specifically like debutante something,
Right, yes.
I was also incorrect in that they didn't have any members of the... Pixie Princess Promenade who were, maybe cis boys identifying
trans,
as
or like
trans feminine
there were
or
adults,
female.
there were like
So it was just little girls there. So I don't think we got a lot right. I mean, it is an event. It is, the name alone does give you hints about what the event is like. The name? Yes, sure.
So the name, and then Millie follows up by they're like, well, what is it? And Millie describes it as going into the forest for a magical adventure that changes you forever.
Yeah.
Or that forever changes you. And I'm like, that just sounds weird.
It sounds exactly like, Little Red Riding Hood's subplot in Into the Woods, doesn't it? Sondheim musical,
right. It's like adults taking small children into the forest for something that will change them. Because
taking their
even
innocence.
The princesses literally tell the parents, like, you can't come with us. You stay here. And I'm like,
yes.
No. As a parent, no.
That does seem. Also, the event it doesn't seem all that fun? Impressive or fun. I mean, I guess it makes sense that, like, it's sort of realistic, like, sure. I believe that someone would just do some kind of low rent walk around the park. They don't have to rent a space, right? They can just go to a public park, make some money.
Parents will dump their kids there immediately.
The parents don't care. Yeah, the parents don't want to.
They want it. They want
stick around. So I mean, I get that that's a Bob's thing. It's just kind of like cynical real world stuff.
Right.
But it was a little bit surprising, because one of the story twists on that side is, oh no, do you need to check up on that?
Oh yeah, sorry. Oh wow. It's at least. Oh, it's a fire truck and an ambulance and well.
Wow.
That's about sirens, is that when you hear them, you know that someone's getting help who needs it.
That's why you don't do the PPP at night. Because it's much more dangerous. So
it is,
we shouldn't mess around with that. The magic can start fires. But so one of the twists here is that some of the kids like, oh, we're really into this. Like, we love it. It says something about who we are.
The little Harley lookalike.
The not Harley character is there. But that turn didn't really work for me.
Right.
I guess. Or most of it. I don't know.
Well, what did you think about the message for that episode? Because it kind of came out of nowhere for me.
I need to backtrack to figure out what the message is.
It was Louise being like, well, I don't like this stuff. Am I not being a girl right? Like, why do I not like girly stuff? And
so it's okay. So it's a split thing of, it's like, let people enjoy things, right? But also, you enjoy whatever you want, I guess.
Yes.
Right? Is that the message?
What you like doesn't have to be what other people like.
Right.
Especially if you don't have to like the same thing as the same air quotes gender as you, or like the gender norms. You don't have to like that type of stuff.
Yes. Yeah, there does seem to be a specific.
I truly wish they did it in a different type of episode. Or I thought if I could write this episode, I would keep the same title. I would keep kind of the same premise, but instead of it being this princess forest thing, I would have it be like a pageant that Louise has to enter to do something.
Yeah.
And then she gets to have her little aha moment on stage and be like, you know what? I don't like this type of stuff, but that's okay. And I'm still a lady.
That's not a bad idea.
All of a sudden, she's blackmailed because of the sludgative, Barubu card.
Yeah.
And Millie headbutted somebody, so she can't go anymore. And that's how we get there. And
yeah.
That lesson came out of nowhere for me.
Well, yeah, and here's a place where it was done better. But there's I don't know if you've ever seen this one. I forget what season it's from, but there's an episode of Steven Universe, right? Somewhere before all the big alien stuff is happening. Is that a spoiler? But anyway, the one girl, Sadie, right? The one girl there. Her mom is trying to get her to do this talent show, right? And her friend Steven's like, hey, you got to go sing in the talent show. I heard you singing when you didn't think anybody was listening. You're great. It'll be awesome. And so it's all building up towards that very predictable tropey. Oh, she's going to open up, get her confidence, right? And everything will be fine. And then at the tail end, she's like, no, I don't care about this at all, and I'm not doing it. And now I'm done. So I think, I don't know. It's basically the same message without the overt gender angle, I guess. But I feel like it works a lot better there because it made sense. It felt right for the characters. And here, yeah, so like if it had been, so they mess it up, obviously. They mess up, Louise messes up the tour, her mission, right?
Well, I think Millie messed it up. Millie kind of went stir crazy when she saw the wands.
A mix of both, but Louise was breaking into the wand box. So
well, it was just sitting there.
She was already attracting attention, but it got fucked up either way, whoever did it. And if from that point on, we would have had a clear contrast of like, here are Louise's ideas for how to get out of their situation, and here are Millie's ideas, and they were vastly different. Like Louise was going for more like hardcore, physical Louise-y stuff, and Millie was bringing like weird fairy magic stuff to the table. That would have been interesting because then you could develop those differences, right? And they're constantly clashing and saying like, no, my way is better, blah blah blah. And there's a little bit of that, I guess, except Millie is just as good at the Louise stuff as Louise is, if not better. So it almost felt like it was heading in the direction of just more Louise and Millie getting along.
Right.
Just
realizing
like,
that they're both a similar kind of crazy.
Yeah, and even if we have different specific hobbies, right? Like, yeah, we have very similar personalities, right? And whatever, we can work together, all that kind of stuff.
I was reading a comment that said that this version of Millie, or like this is the first episode that we have Millie not like just obsessing over Louise the whole time. Like they're kind of getting towards even ground with each other, where Millie less idolizes her but now kind of sees her just as a friend, acquaintance, like like she's not just being like Penelope Tate from Amanda Show, just super obsessed with her. Like she still loves her and will make those little side comments or those little side like one-liners regarding her. But in terms of Louise Shrine, it's like less of that, I think.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe there's maybe there's some kind of progression.
That's just them like fleshing Millie's character out more, where we're like, well, now before we just associated Millie with just being that chick who was obsessed with Louise, and now that we bring her around more, let's kind of make her a little bit more three-dimensional, I guess.
Maybe. I think that's a little optimistic. I think they said this script has room for 3 minutes of Millie dialogue. And we don't have room for her to do the normal shtick, so instead, she's focused on the whole point of the episode, right? Like her goal, it's her stakes, I kind of just feel like there wasn't room for the normal Louise fawning stuff. But who knows? It could be that they use Millie maybe once, twice a season, right? So I guess it's possible. Maybe they'll bring her back way later in the season, and we get confirmation of that character dynamic. But yeah, it's an interesting idea. It's an interesting theory, about progressing that character and taking their relationship to a different space. Because I also do think it's kind of just annoying and frustrating to have that very consistent, weird Stockholm syndrome, push and pull between Louise and Millie. So
yeah, their relationship is definitely unhealthy, but I'm curious as to what it will be in like high school, like college age.
Sure.
I want to see how they interact.
Okay. Yeah, why not? We'll get a all grown up episode that will reveal all of that,
which just has them being 11 years old.
Yeah, it's very
nothing important.
No, well, it's taken Louise 10 years, 12 years to maybe grow 1 year.
Yeah,
to maybe get 1 year older.
Do you ever look at the like Bob's Burgers fan art where people try to make them look older and stuff?
Very rarely, but I have for sure. I think I've seen Louise.
I like it. I love looking at fan art of like the cartoons that we watch and love being old, like Recess. Like someone has like pictures that they made of the Recess cast older and gave them little futures, and I'm like, yay.
Yeah. Craig of the Creek is very Recess, isn't it?
Yeah, everyone has their own. Yeah, I was like, wait, what? Yeah, yes. It's very like niche-y. Everybody has their little clique that they go to, and then there's like the people who can interact with everybody.
And all the interesting stuff is happening like away from all the parents and authority figures and stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a neutral zone.
Yeah, it is like their Recess. It's like post-school Recess. Mm-hmm. I like the episode. They have one where there's a timekeeper that sits on top of a tree and blows a tuba at like 3:30 or whatever, and like tells everybody to go home for dinner. Oh, like, that's cool. Such a cool job.
That's great. Yeah, it's very noble. Yeah. So we're So what? Okay. How about this? How about that? You have notes on these episodes. We're still on the first one, of course, but what do you got? Were there specific points of interest beyond the stuff that we've already touched on?
In addition to the lesson of the episode, I wrote down that this episode had a really good sister moment, or like sister bond, where Louise was genuinely, like, you could tell when she had a moment of like, am I doing this wrong? Like, she was generally being like sister to sister, like, can you tell, like, is this wrong? Like, you're older than me, you've experienced this. And I felt that I'm a younger sister and I have my older sister, and there have been times where I'm like, dude, how do we do this? Like, I don't understand. And I thought that was cute. You know, it's a vulnerable moment for Louise, and Tina did so good. She had like the perfect answer for her. And she was talking about how she's wondered if she's pretty. I think she asked if she's pretty. And then Louise says, if you're not pretty, then I don't know what is. And I'm like, oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
A little heart. Shout out to definitely. Sisters out there. Sisters are the strangest relationships you'll ever have.
Yeah, sure. There you go. Yes, there's that big climactic moment there.
And then in the main story. I also, for the B plot, I have my notes. The first thing I put is, I love that Teddy is shady and calls out Bob for not addressing Linda's issue earlier. Like, he has that line where he says, you didn't notice that, or like maybe you don't pay attention to her enough to notice this. And I was like, oh, Teddy.
Yeah, like, you're not emotionally available enough to make her feel safe sharing this kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Right. That's there. That's a bit of a through line for Teddy across multiple seasons at this point, I guess. And
I put Mort in all caps because it's a wild Mort appearance. It's true. I manifested him because I asked for, that's something I know was in the predictions episode. I asked for Mort, we got him, and I appreciated it. Thanks, Fox.
Yes.
I thank you for Mort. And it, like, at least his character wasn't just throwing out a one-liner. Like, he needed to be there for the story to happen.
Right.
So that was also good. I'm glad Linda was able to process that situation.
Yeah, it took, I don't know, a couple minutes, I guess. Yeah. No, she did. She got it done. There wasn't a lot of...
Was it that she saw a bottle cap die, like, in front of her, or that she just heard that he got hit by a milk truck? Because I think that maybe she saw it, right?
She said that she saw it, yeah.
That's what... Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen an animal, like, die in front of, like, get hit by a vehicle or anything like that.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Got to be in the right place at the right time, you know.
Oh, don't.
But, not really. But so that's just a development of her whole thing. It's like, oh, it's already a clear source of trauma.
Right.
And then they just heighten that by saying, oh, yeah, she definitely saw it die, by the way. But I don't know. I mean, that felt very par for the course, where we just get those very small interludes where that whole B story is developed. So it was really just, okay, as soon as the
and the moment they just really like to add, like, Linda's weird background stories, and this is just them, like, fleshing it out more.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's really fine. It's just one of those things. As soon as you get a hint of what that storyline is going to be, you know exactly where it's going and exactly how it's going to wrap up. Mm-hmm. I guess so. As soon as she was like showing affection for the basket of flowers, I was like, okay. All right, I'm done now with that one.
Well, what does that mean for her love for her porcelain babies? Like, what's going on there then?
Yeah, they really haven't touched on that very much.
I want them to bring that back. I should have put that in my predictions. More porcelain baby stuff. Like when Tina is breaking them when she's like addicted to coffee and stuff.
Yeah, I wonder how, because I guess it was kind of a highlighted thing in the shopping, I guess it's the anniversary episode, right, where they're shopping around for a gift for Linda, and they actually find out how much the babies cost and stuff like that. Although, hang on, didn't they also go to a pawn shop that other time, and Linda takes the babies, and the guy's like, "This is worth nothing"? So how does that market work?
I mean, that's how pawn shops work, and I feel like maybe that was that was just like the joke of it.
But the store at the mall was...
items, exactly. But I mean, like items that cost money, and you go to a pawn shop, and they're like, "Oh, I'll give you like a nickel for it."
Well, but it wasn't only that, because he showed us. He's like, the supply is massive. We already have 2,000 babies, as opposed to just scamming. So that episode of South
Park where people they buy expensive jewelry and stuff that's cool, and then it doesn't. The person who gets it is like, fuck this, and then they get rid of it, and the cycle continues.
So I don't know if they would do a baby-centric, porcelain baby-centric episode exactly.
That's true, I guess.
A Grazielda. But a mention, I could see that for sure. That seems likely enough. But
like, I would have loved if Bob used the line, like, I was there for you during your... like we're not going to have like another porcelain baby situation right now. Okay. Did like a little callback.
Right.
To the babies.
Right. Tie it together. Yeah, totally. But we got a Linda-centric B plot here, so it'll probably be at least a couple episodes until we get a full Linda episode anyway. So she's on break for a little while, I guess until Halloween, right? She'll be big in the Halloween one. As we already know. But yeah, so that was the B story. A story was the fairy princess time in the park. And I don't know, is there anything else? Are there any other big notable moments in here? Is there anything that gave us a taste of what they mentioned in whatever press release thing about like
that this is gonna be the hold on, let me flip one page back.
Stories that feel grounded but like
making
big small stories feel big.
Making small stories feel big.
Oh, okay.
Good gosh.
So yeah, that whole kind of weird cryptic statement about season 12. So I mean, I guess it's vague enough that we could say they're doing it.
Did you learn anything from this episode, or do you think people out there have the possibility of learning a lesson? I think that's how I'll ask that question now. Like, not necessarily did you learn something, but do you think others potentially could learn from this episode?
I don't.
What will they learn?
I don't even know the show's core demographic, honestly. So, like, I think it would be heavily dependent on that. If a big chunk of the audience is like, I don't know, middle schoolers and high schoolers, which I feel like I'd have a hard time believing that. But if that's the core audience for the show, maybe there's some, it is very basic. Both of the messages between the two stories are very basic. It's basically, like you said, it's be yourself at the most basic level, and then take time to process your feelings on the other side of things. So, like, okay, and like sure, that's good, but yeah, it's animated sitcom fare. It's not trying to do anything too lofty, and the show never has, and I'm not saying it should necessarily, but I guess I'll just say, yeah, I'm a little bit skeptical that people will really feel like super inspired or motivated by this episode. But in terms of mild entertainment and like reassurance of basic lessons, yeah, why not? I guess.
What I'll say about this episode is that you can really hear, I don't know if the audio is different this season, but I feel like I could hear more of the voice acting in it. And you can hear their like voices drop, their tones change. Like I could, like when I'll go back to that same scene where Louise was asking Tina. Like you could hear the desperation in her voice, and I was like, "Whoa, okay." And like you could hear, like Millie just sounded different a little bit to me. So I thought that was very interesting and cool. Being like, whoa, okay, am I feeling this episode a little bit more? I probably won't go back and watch it often, but when I did watch it, I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. The last note I have is a line that Jean said that actually made me LOL. And it said, I remember when I could twirl, then life caught up to me. And I'm like, oh, I feel that.
Yeah.
Not that I'm old or anything.
So true. Jean always knows how to tell it like it is. But yeah, my only other thing, and I mentioned this in person because when we watched the episode, I think it came up. Yeah, but more or less, I was shocked because several times, like while watching the episode, while actively watching it play out, it really did take me several different times to remind myself that it was a season premiere at all. And even earlier in the podcast where I just reflexively thought this episode was the second episode of the season, there was just a space in my mind where I was like, oh yeah, there must have been a first episode.
It feels like middle tier.
It feels like just so normal. I should have gone back and looked at like the season premiere for every episode to kind of remind myself, of like
we should do that sometime.
The level. I mean, I guess I could quickly Google a list. But basically, I think the Belchies was the season 2 premiere, if I remember correctly. I definitely think that one works as a season premiere. It's exciting. It's like an action thing, basically. There's a lot going on there. There's some neat animation, great sense of humor. But yeah, we got Belchies for season 2. Season 3 premieres Earsy Rider, right? Okay, not too bad.
Big stuff happens. New characters.
A River Runs Through Bob.
Okay.
A personal favorite. I won't say it's the most, large scale thing out there. But
when
we
Bob
do get to see him.
lies on the ground and is like ready to die via squirrel.
Yeah. No. Season 5, Work Hard or Die Trying Girl. Come on, like that's that's a classic.
It's our first musical.
Kind of.
Premiere.
Yeah. Sliding Bobs is season 6. That one's decent. Fluies.
I don't like that one. Sorry.
It's fine. I think it's fine as a season premiere. Season 7 premiere was Fluies, which is a big musical episode. Really cool animation and, fictional environments that we've never seen. Brunch Squatch had the whole gimmick,
it did have that.
Art crawl gimmick. So that was another big kickoff. And then we have Just One of the Boys for Now.
Oh, that's another musical.
And then The Ring But Not Scary.
I like that. Well, it has Nat in it,
like
so
one.
It's great.
And then season 11, Dream a Little Bob of Bob, which I do not remember at all.
That's the one where he gets small, I think, at the end and fights a rubber band ball.
Well, in the car for the whole episode. He's small in the car. Yeah. So you know what? I'm going to even give it to that one. Every one of those other season premieres felt at least vaguely like an event to me, or at least memorable,
Right.
This one will totally get lost in the annals. I don't think there is anything particularly special or interesting about it, which was, just a little shocking to me, I guess, especially when they seemed, I don't know if it's the correct impression, but it does kind of seem like they've been hyping up this season, and like getting the word out and doing, and also it's the season before the movie. So I was kind of expecting more, I suppose. But that's how I feel about it.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
That's what I got there.
I understand. I think some people, like some other people that I've spoken with, have also expressed that it just wasn't big enough, or just didn't seem like they were trying to do anything special.
Nah.
But I mean, hey, we got Millie. We got Mort.
Mort was there. That's true. Mort was there.
I really liked the princesses and the gnome, the adult people who were a part of the PPP.
Yes, the gnome is certainly a very, Bob's Burgers character, right? There were fun moments for sure, but overall, I really didn't.
I was just mad at the overall concept of it. Like, it didn't make sense to me. Like the whole, oh, you have to get me this because I gave you this car. I feel like the episode could have been that aspect of the story could have been something more, not that.
Gotcha. No, totally. Yeah, no, I agree. But yeah, I don't know. There were just aspects that felt a little wilted to me, I guess. And
like they could have made it like a sparkle wand move, like heist movie, where they all had to do like heisty stuff,
right?
And
that would have been fun.
Like, and if they wanted to keep that message, they were like, "Oh, Louise, you be the hot one," and she's like, "Well, that doesn't. I don't know. I don't like that type of stuff." And then she can still have that aha moment. And I don't know.
Yeah,
like
even
Miss Congeniality, like Miss Congeniality, it could have been like that, where she's like a tomboy who has whatever.
You know what else this episode list has?
Tell me.
Is for each episode it has the number of U.S. viewers in millions.
Uh-oh.
Shall we compare the numbers for the season premieres? I can do that quickly, I promise.
Yeah. Can we play high-low?
Sure.
Okay, so first off, are any of them higher than 5 million?
Yeah.
Okay, are any of them higher than 10 million?
No.
Okay, so I'll do a range of 1 and 10. Okay, cool.
Okay,
season 1.
Yep.
7.
No.
Higher or lower?
It's higher.
Okay, season 2. 8.
No.
Okay.
How about this? I'll give you season 1, and I will tell you that from there on out, it is mostly downhill, with one exception. Otherwise, it has dropped every single time. So season 1, the big premiere was 9.38 million. That is the highest of anything.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yep. Season 2
I watched
is
the season premiere the day
season
it came
2
out.
is a substantial drop. I'll say that.
Oh no. So what?
Should I just read them off?
Are you drinking a hydro flask full of whiskey?
It's water. I don't have any liquor. Did you need liquor?
No, when I heard it, I was like,
no,
he's
just
drinking
water.
Water, and I'm drinking booze.
I'll just go through them. But season 1, 9.38. Season 2, 4.04. Season 3, 5.46. So a nice jump there.
Okay.
Season, 4 is 4.48. Season 5 is 3.14. Season 6 is 2.5. I'll just do one decimal. Season 7 is 2.6. Season 8 is 2.9. There you go. Season 9 is 2.4. Kind of, pretty steady there.
Are we dying?
Season 10 is 1.8. Season 11 is 1.7. And season 12 is 1.6.
Okay, Mr. Statsman, here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Does this count like people who watch Bob's via streaming?
No, of course not. This is aired.
People?
They don't record. They don't release those numbers.
Then yeah, okay. Those numbers are abysmal. But I also understand because I do have cable and I have my DVR set to record all new Bob's Burgers episodes. So I hope I'm contributing. Does that count if I'm recording it?
I don't know. I would assume
if I record
so.
It when it's coming out.
I would assume so, but I'm not sure.
We'll Google that later. But the people probably just wait for it to come out the next day on Hulu.
That it's still indicative, and this is Nielsen, so like this is a very big deal for production studios.
Nielsen family, my dream job.
So it's kind of a big deal. So yeah, we can't say that it's representative of all viewership, obviously, but it is certainly an indicator of one type of interest over the course of 11 years.
Right.
So that's that. Anyway, I wasn't trying to be too dour or anything. I also think this is pretty common for a lot of shows, unless they're like big prestige shows that have an ongoing storyline that's building up all the time, right?
Shoot. What I will say is that this season premiere was, and maybe I'll get hate, but that's okay. I'm ready to bear that cross.
Okay.
But it was leaps and bounds better than the premiere of The Great North. And I don't know if you watched that.
Like a new season premiere?
The season, I believe, if I'm not wrong, that The Great North premiered the same night that Bob's premiered.
Sounds right.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So that happened.
That was bad.
And it made me cross my arms within the first 2 minutes. I was like, "Oh my god, this is what we're doing." So it went season 5 Bob's Burgers at season 2, where it's like we're just gonna start singing all the time now.
Yes.
We're gonna sing. I actually want to watch you watch the episode, so don't watch it tonight.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It made me cross my arms for sure.
Yeah.
So at least it's not that I don't like Bob's Burgers when they do lots of musical episodes, but I like that they didn't use that as a crutch for the season premiere, because a lot of the season premieres, like you just listed off, were musical episodes towards the later season. So I'm glad they didn't do a musical, especially with this princess garbage.
Yeah, no,
that was
totally
rude. This Princess Promenade. That was so mean. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's talk about the second one real fast.
Okay, sure.